G'day guys, this is Tyrone and welcome back to another Fallout 76 video. A few days ago I tested the Grenadier perk and shown proof that it does work on some legendary explosion perks. If you'd like to see that, the link is here in the eye. But today, I've made another discovery. Grenadier also now affects your mutations. The ones in question being unstable isotope and electrically charged. So in this video, I'm going to firstly show proof of that being real, and then I'm going to test whether or not it is a visual only explosion increase, or if it actually increases the effective radius of those mutations. Let's get into it. Okay, so firstly, the proof. It's very simple. I just need to stand here and get smacked repeatedly by Stayed until the mutation activates. I will do this firstly without Grenadier. As you can see, the perk is off, and here we go. There you have it, that was unstable isotope activating, and you can see the size of the little mushroom cloud that is left behind is small and unimpressive. Now I shall put Grenadier on and show the difference. And holy fuck, there we go. Now that's an explosion. As you can see, unstable isotope is now bloody massive. It almost looks to be the size of a regular mini nuke mushroom cloud, which is just insane. So there we go, we know it works, but as for right now, we still don't know if it is visual only, or if it actually increases the mutation's damage radius. I'll get to testing that later on in the video. Before we do that though, I'd like to test electrically charged and see if the same effect happens. Now this mutation is a little different. It's not technically an explosion, but is merely a puff of electricity, so it will be interesting to see if it does actually get doubled. Firstly, I'm going to be testing without Grenadier. And there it is, a little pathetic puff of electricity at our feet. Let's see if we can change that. Let's put on Grenadier, and here we go. And wow, just wow. I honestly wasn't expecting that to work, but it did work. Electrically charged has been doubled in size. This is just amazing. So there's the proof that Grenadier visually makes these mutations larger. But let's see if they are mechanically more effective with a larger effective damage radius, or if it is merely just visual, as that is the most important part of this whole test. Yeah, it's cool to have them visually larger, but we want to also know if the damage radius will be more effective for us in actual combat. Let's go. Okay, let's start off with the electrically charged one. As you can see, the default size of this mutation is tiny, and the background footage shows that even though Gardner is standing shoulder to shoulder with me, he is not taking damage. The radius is so small by default that only the melee attacker is being damaged. It almost appears that there is no radius at all with this mutation, by default. Anyway, let's put on Grenadier and see if this radius does get increased. And yep, straight away, you can see an immediate difference. Gardner is now taking damage while standing right next to me, and I will have to have him gradually move back to see how far this radius is now with Grenadier. As you can see, the radius is now so large, I had to stop and extend the platform out further so that Gardner had more room to move out onto, which is just crazy. This is way more than double. Bizarrely, this mutation goes from having no effective damage radius to a radius of about 2.5 camp floors, as you can see there in the video. And right here is where we have to stop it, because right where Gardner is standing right now is about the edge of the effective damage radius with Grenadier equipped. I'm honestly impressed and surprised. Now let's move on to the unstable isotope mutation. We will start off by seeing what the default radius of the explosion is without Grenadier, and thankfully the default radius of this mutation is quite large already. As you can see, Gardner is taking damage. We found through trial and error that this position right here is the absolute edge of the default damage radius without Grenadier. So let's pop Grenadier back on and see if this can be increased like electrically charged was. Okay, so here we are. As you can see, the mutation explosion is much larger and is damaging Gardner all the same, whilst close to me. But then we will make Gardner walk out a little bit further past the default radius that we had before, and as you will see, this is him still taking damage. So with this, we can confirm that the damage radius is increased, thankfully. As you can see from those clips, Gardner was taking damage way further out than he was previously with the new, larger explosion. And as you can see from right here, Gardner is now outside the new, larger damage radius. This appears to be the new effective damage radius with Grenadier turned on. So that's it. But what do we take away from all this? Basically, Electrically charged and unstable Isotope are now more powerful with Grenadier active. They have a larger damage radius and they look visually more massive and catastrophic, which is fucking awesome. But should you use these? Well, that's debatable depending on your build. I'm definitely going to be trying them out on my melee build, as I'm already using unstable Isotope and Grenadier on the build, so I guess I'll add electrically charged into the mix on my build and see how well it performs. And I encourage all of you to do the same and try this out for your own build. If you do, then please let me know down in the comments how it works for you guys. Now, as for the whole conversation relating to is this meant to happen, is this a bug, is it intentional, will it get patched? I don't know the answer to any of those questions. Bethesda were utterly useless during the PTS when everyone was trying to help them fix this perk and make it apply correctly to all of the explosions. So honestly, I think this is unintentional and will probably get changed in the future. And don't get me wrong, I don't want it to get changed because it's cool as fuck and makes these lackluster mutations more powerful. But as we all know, Bethesda does as Bethesda do, unfortunately. So we will just have to see how the future plays out. That's going to do it for me. A massive shout out to all my current Patreons and members. You legends help fuel the content on this channel, so thank you for your support. And also thank you to Stayed C and Gardner for helping me out with this video once again. If you'd like to support me on Patreon or become a channel member, be sure to check those out in the description, along with my other social medias, and be sure to subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed. I've been Tia, and I'll catch you in the next one. Welcome to Valhalla.